Hey guys, welcome back to another video. As you can see, today's video will be another cooking video, and today I'll be showing you guys how to cook rice and peas. So these are the main ingredients we'll be using. We're gonna have, this is just regular brown rice. You don't have to use brown rice, you can use regular white rice, and I'm gonna probably use like a half of this. I have my red kidney beans. These are red kidney beans right here. It's not any particular brand. You can just buy regular kidney beans. I know the irony of it, what you're thinking, guys. Why is it basically called rice and peas if you're using red kidney beans? But that's just, you use beans to do it, but we call it rice and peas in Jamaica. Okay, you're going to also need your, I'm using coconut, greased coconut powder. You can also use coconut milk if you have it. I'm going to also be using some scallion and thyme. I'm not going to be using all of this that you see right here. But yeah, I'm going to be using scallion and thyme. And of course, you're going to also need your salt. So those are the basic ingredients. So we're going to get right now to preparing. Okay, so I have went ahead and threw out my kidney beans in the pot I'll be cooking with. So what I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna go ahead and wash the kidney beans at least twice, at least 3 times, as a matter of fact. So I'm washing it. This is my first rinse. When it comes on to kidney bean, any kind of beans you're cooking, you want to ensure that you wash it properly. So this is my second rinse right here. And I'm now on to my final rinse. So I'm actually washing it 3 times. Okay, so that's my third rinse right there. So now I'm gonna go ahead and catch a generous amount of water. This is warm water I'm using. When it comes on to kidney beans, guys, you have to, it's pretty tough, so you have to boil it until it's soft and tender. So I'm just catching enough. I'm not really filling the pot per se, but I'm just catching enough. So that's how much water I have in it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn my stove on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cover the pot. So when it comes down to kidney beans, guys, what we normally like to do in Jamaica, we normally like to put it to, like, boil it. Like, for instance, we normally cook rice and peas on a Sunday. So what we do is that we boil it for probably like an hour on Saturday, like Saturday evening, and then we let it sit overnight. So you can do that. You can boil it for an hour the day before you're going to cook it, and then you can cover it and let it sit overnight, and by the morning it would be pretty tender. You'd probably give it the next 20 minutes cook time, and then you'll go ahead and season it up. But what you can also do is, if you're going to cook it the same day, you can just boil it for probably like 2 hours, 2.5 hours, or anything of that region, or boil it to the point where it's tender and soft. So what I'm doing, I'm going to do the version where you just boil it for an hour and then let it sit overnight. So I'm basically going to start boiling it right now. So I'll be back to you guys as my peas gets tender to show you the rest of the instructions. So what we're going to do right now, my peas is pretty soft because, as I told you guys, I boiled it for an hour and left it overnight. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to take my coconut milk. You're normally supposed to mix it in about 150 ml of water, but if you have a measuring cup, you can go ahead and measure it. But since I make rice and peas over and over, I don't necessarily measure when I'm adding the water. But what I'm doing, I'm using this little pot, and I'm using probably like half of the pot of water. So I'm going to go ahead and add all the contents of the coconut milk, and I'm going to stir it right around. Okay guys, so this is my peas on the stove right now. So I'm gonna go ahead, I've mixed up my coconut milk, so I'm gonna go ahead and add it to the peas. So that's how it looks, and then I'm gonna go ahead and stir in the milk that I just added. So you basically get this nice consistency. I'm gonna let this boil up a little bit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and add all my seasoning. So that's how it looks so far with the peas, the cooked peas. How you can know if your peas is cooked, guys, it's gonna have, once you take the fork and squeeze it, it's gonna feel soft. See, if you can see it, it's soft and it's breaking up, so you can see that the peas is cooked. So that's how it looks so far with my peas and my coconut milk. So I'm gonna let it boil up a little bit, and then I'm gonna prepare to add the rest. After having your pot boil up for a little bit with the coconut milk added, what you're gonna do right now is you're gonna season the pot now. So you're gonna add your scallion and thyme, and I forgot to know that we're going to use a Scotch bonnet pepper, but we're not going to cut it or anything. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm using this much scallion and thyme, so I'm going to go ahead and directly to the pot now, and then I'm going to add my Scotch bonnet pepper. Guys, these peppers are hot, especially if you get the Jamaican ones, so you're going to try not to burst this pepper, else you're going to have some spicy ass rice and peas. So I'm going to add the pepper. Get my fork, mix it a little bit, and then I'm gonna add, at this point now, I'm gonna add my salt. So you're just adding a generous amount of salt to taste, not too much, but just add a generous amount to taste. Okay, that's enough for me, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this boil a little bit, and then we're gonna go ahead and prepare to add our rice. Just to note, guys, I went ahead and already washed my rice. I threw out half a bag of it in there, and I washed it 3 times to ensure that you guys try to ensure that when you take your rice from the package, you try to wash it at least 3 times to get rid of some of the starch. So we're gonna let this boil a little bit, and then we're gonna prepare to add our rice. Okay guys, so after having it boil up for a little bit, you're gonna go ahead and add your rice to the pot. That's how it looks. So you're gonna add your rice and stir a little bit. Guys, this is smelling so good already, trust me, it smells so good. So at this point now, you go ahead and you're gonna cover your pot, and you're gonna turn down your stove a little bit. You don't want it necessarily too high. As the water dries out, you turn down your stove a little bit more so it can steam. So that's it so far with the rice and everything. So I'm gonna let it continue to boil down, and I'll come back to you guys when it's almost finished. It has been about 50 minutes, and this is how it's looking so far. Looking nice and tasty. So I'm gonna give it probably about a next. I gave it like 15 minutes earlier to make all the most of the water dry out, so I'm probably going to give it a next probably like 8 minutes or something like that until all the water dries out completely from the rice. So I'm going to come back to you guys when it's finished. This is the finished result of my rice and peas, guys. Nice and fresh and nice and reddish or pinkish. So that's the finished look. Of course, you can eat this with any meat of your choice. You can eat it with chicken, fish, you can eat it with your stewed chicken, you can eat it with curry chicken, you can eat it with fish, beef, any meat of your choice really. It's a wonderful dish. It tastes good with almost anything. So that's it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video and it was helpful to you guys. Should you have any questions or concerns, please leave it down in the bottom bar, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.